Hey everybody, Mike here from Sledaddicz. Look at us, we're in beautiful Montval land. There's tons of snow all around everywhere, and we spent a couple of days up here just riding the trails. The conditions have actually been fantastic, and we're out on the brand new 2024 Skidoo BC XRS this year. This is a beautiful sled, and we've had a chance to put about 500-600K on it, just getting it out of break-in mode. And what we thought we'd do for today's video is just bring you guys some initial impressions and what we think about the sled. Last year, if you remember, we had the 2023 BCX. And so we've gone from the X suspension to the XRS, and obviously this is in the new G5 platform. So far so good, so let's get it on the trail, and we'll talk to you guys a little bit about this sled.
So right off the bat, I will say this sled handles flatter than the BCX did, and seems to be better for trail riding right out of the box. I think Jesse found that the other one was a little bit more tippy, and this one just doesn't seem to be as tippy as that BCX was. Now again, I sort of got used to it, and I kind of like that idea of just riding the sled a little bit more. You got to be a little bit more active on it. This one kind of reminds me of the Renegade a little bit more, right? Because it's a little bit more settled, I think, from an overall riding perspective. The other thing too is I just haven't really been able to get it to transfer as well as the BCX. Now that being said, I haven't had optimal conditions to actually test it yet. The trail's been really mostly hard pack, and it does seem to want to spin. I started the sled out full hard on everything, on all the settings, and it was stiff as hell. Now I've got everything basically backed all the way off just because I wanted to see how much different it would be. Certainly enjoying the ride in full soft mode, believe it or not. You cannot bottom this sucker out. I couldn't believe it. It handles bumps great, and it rides really nice. Again, that seating position that I absolutely love, the BCX and the BCXRS line, it puts you a little bit more up on the sled, kind of more like an ATV, and compared to the MXZs or the Renegades where you're sort of sitting in those sleds. And for me, I just like it, you know, a little bit older guy. My back's not as good as it used to be, my lower back, so I find I can ride this sled pretty easily all day long, and you know, it's just a better overall seating position for me. You will notice that your knees are going to be into the tank a little bit more and into your panels a little bit more in comparison to the MXZs and the Renegades, but that's okay. And you're kind of really up on the tank when you're riding hard. And we've got obviously our knee pads on there, which help to provide some of that added protection, which is great. Don't really notice too much difference. I would say in terms of you know, traction out back, it's pretty much the same. The XRS suspension definitely over the bumps. This thing's a winner. Handles over the moguls much better than the X did. So, you know, Jesse was like, "Yeah, we got to get it in XRS." We're like, "Okay, we'll try it in the XRS this year." And definitely the suspension, the shock package is much better when you're getting into the bumpy stuff, and we certainly put it to the test. I think we have a good section of 10 kilometers back towards town that's pretty bumpy, and you know, we were kind of flying across it the last couple of days, and it handles really, really well. Now I did have some issues initially, and again, I've been playing a lot with it, just trying to really get it dialed in, but I wasn't getting 8,000 RPM, so I've had to mess with the belt adjustment a little bit more. I'm running the belt a little bit higher just to get it to pull a little bit better, and then I also had to dial up my clickers a little bit. So my old sled on my BCX, I think I was running those clickers at 3 or maybe even 4. This one I'm running them at 5, so I don't know if anything's changed in the clutching, but I haven't taken a look to see if maybe they've changed the weights, or if it's the same, or the springs, if those are the same as well. So I'll take a look online hopefully tonight and just check that out. But in order to get it to rev a little higher, and Frank was saying maybe it's just because I'm up in elevation too, could have something to do with it. So again, not too sure there. So I will say, you know, for the most part, I like to run my sleds stock for the first little bit just to get, you know, get a good sense as to what they're like, and then where they might need some changes here and there. And as far as front end handling, I haven't touched it yet in terms of carbides. You know, back in and around town, the conditions are kind of crummy, so I haven't swapped out for my Bergstroms yet. But once I'm, you know, through these ones, probably after this trip, I'm going to swap them out for the 6-inch Bergstroms and see what the difference is in terms of handling up front. But honestly, like, again, just to do some initial comparisons out of the box, thing handles great. The corner's flatter than our last year's BCX did in the G4. Jesse was saying, you know, right away he doesn't find this one tippy at all. That being said, I think we are going to try it with a 42-inch front end, just because, you know, this year so far, not really looking like that much snow right now, and probably going to be running this on trail 80% of the time. So we're probably going to swap the front end and put a trail 42-inch wide front end on it. I've got the front set to medium in terms of my compression on the shocks. And I've run them so far. I haven't run it on low. I keep them at medium. I had it on hard initially, but I found it a little too stiff. But yeah, you know, I've really fallen in love with the backcountry lineup. I love the 146. I really find this thing easier to steer than you know, regular MXZ or Renegade. Oh, I think I just heard Jesse in my ear. All right, guys. Well, that gives you some of my initial thoughts on this 2024 BC XRS. Like I said, so far so good out of the box, totally stock. It's a beautiful sled, and I'm looking forward to putting a bunch of miles on it this year. God, hoping we're going to get a bunch of snow, and hopefully bring you guys some more information throughout the season on it for any modifications or adjustments that we do end up making. I would hope and like to see just a little bit more transfer out of this thing, so hopefully we'll get Chris to help us out with that. Maybe just the limiter strap, but other than that, she's a winner.